Okay, everyone, let's begin with variance. Let's say our sample data is 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we have 5 pieces of data. Now remember, this is a sample, which means it's part of what you're studying in this research. Let's say it's a research study or a collection of data. Most of the time you'll be working with a sample, not the entire population. So that's important that most of our data sets, the 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are for a sample. Okay, in order to calculate variance, we're trying to find out the spread, and that means how far is each of these numbers from the center. And this measure of center is mean or average. So the mean or average of these numbers is 8. And that is designated with an X with the line on top of that. That's average or mean. So that's the mean is 8. Okay, so how far apart or how far from the center or mean is each of these numbers? Each of the numbers from 6, each of the numbers from 8, so on, and so on. Okay, so we have, and then what we'll do with the answer is that the difference is squared. So each of those differences is squared. Okay. -2, -1 squared is positive. So I'm not worried about negatives and positives, but that's how far they are from the number 8. And so we have 4, 1, 0, 1, and 4. So we add the differences squared, and we have 10. Okay, so let me put that on a new page. Page 1. We'll call this. Okay. And page 2, we say that the sum of those, oh goodness, the sum, the variance is the sum divided by n minus 1. So where does the n minus 1 come from? Remember when I said earlier about this being a sample? Every time you deal with a sample, you're going to be using the number minus 1. That's just a statistic adjustment for working with a sample. So when you take the sum, you're going to divide it by 5 numbers minus 1. So that's where the 4 comes from. There's 5 numbers in the data set, but in the sample, you do n minus 1. And so the variance is 2.5. Now the standard deviation is very easy to do. You just take all of these steps that you did for the spread from the center, and the standard deviation is the square root of that. So take out your calculators and put in 2.5. Take the square root, and that is your standard deviation for that data set. How far it is from the center on average. When they talk about the Chebyshevs to put in the variables for, the interval for 75% of the data in the Chebyshev theorem, what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 standard deviations from the center to the left of, or going down from 8, and 2 standard deviations going above 8.